Christopher Smith. Kenneth Marks. Here. Dallas Smith. Ms. Holmes.
Here.
Jerry LeBeau. Here. Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If you would, please stand, and Mr. Smith, would you lead us in the invocation?
Our gracious Father, we come tonight, first giving you all glory, honor, and praise. Father God, we thank you for this day. Father God, we ask that you be in the midst of this meeting. Help us to make sound decisions on behalf of the city and the EDC. Father God, we ask it all in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board, you have a copy of the minutes from the May 20th meeting. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the minutes from the May 20th meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move on to communications. Mr. Baptiste?
The first one you have is the Chamber of Commerce Industrial Showcase, Industrial Show sponsorship. It's an event that's going to happen on August the 1st. They will have, I think it's in. Say it again.
This is the one that you're going to rescind. We're not going to do the sponsorship. Remember?
Okay. Well, this project is, I think what we asking you guys, we was going to buy a table, but I don't see a need to buy a table. This is strictly for industry and their subcontractors to socialize. I don't see a purpose unless you guys wish to have EDC there. It's nothing really we really could do to help any of these people. You know, it's strictly for industry and their subcontractors. It is free for anyone who want to attend.
Continue.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baptiste. We won't have a table if that's the pleasure of the board. Okay.
Madam Chairman, the second communication you have is Port Arthur Chamber of Commerce membership luncheon, which is Tuesday, June the 25th. Zachary Group going to be the keynote speaker. With they the general contractor for Golden Pass. Normally we purchase a ticket for individual members that want to go. If you want to purchase a table, fine, but my recommendation is a ticket for anyone that wish to attend.
What have we done in the past?
A ticket for anyone that wants to
A
attend.
ticket. Okay. If any members or any of the board members are interested in
Just contact-
going, please contact Joni. With that, we'll move on to non-consent agenda items. Agenda item number 1, to discuss for possible consideration approving an agreement with Lamar University on behalf of the Lamar University Media Alliance for video production of PAEDC board meetings.
Yes, Madam
Mr.
Chairman,
Baptiste.
Commissioners, you guys, in your package, we gave you guys some backup. In a regular meeting way back in November 5th, 2018, you guys approved us using Lamar Media Production for filming of your meetings. Lamar went through some changes, and we just getting an agreement from them. And what we're asking you guys to do is approve the agreement so that we could pay those folks for the service that they have provided. This contract will be coming back to you guys again real soon, but this is all retroactive for last year services.
Heard the item. May I have a motion, please? Any discussion?
The amount was not to exceed 5,000. In the original contract, that contract that's submitted to us, what you guys approved was not to exceed 5,000. Their charge is going to be $4,053.
So moved.
Moved and second to approve agenda item number 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration, recommendation, and approval of a request for proposal for corporate target market branding for EDC.
Yes, ma'am. I know Renata has been working with the city of Port Arthur on putting out a request for proposal. Renata, you want to kind of address that?
Good evening. As you all know, we've been working on this for a few months, and finally we've solidified a RFP to go forward. I have enclosed, well, you guys have in your packet all the information that we will be seeking, and I'm going to honestly say that this is something that we really do need to validate, because this is something that's a need for our EDC and for the future and where we're going. And so pretty much, if you turn in the RFP, you actually have a breakdown of what we're asking for. And on page 5 of 18, we actually have a breakdown of the evaluation and the selection process. So page 4 of 18 just kind of summarizes what we're looking for. And number 1 states to submit previous work of similar projects with cities similar to Port Arthur, preferably municipalities and EDOs 50,000 plus in population. Submit a project approach for this project. Examples of items include number of days to complete work, provide an in-depth layout of concepts that will exemplify a total corporate branding strategy. We're going to accept visuals. Thoroughly provide us with a process that will be used to recruit, attract human population to the Port Arthur, Texas area. What is your experience working with EDOs, which is Economic Development Organizations? Please provide references. Number of employees working on project. What approach will your company take to market the Port Arthur, Texas area? To market that it is an income tax-free state. And outline your firm will partner with local industry to convey Port Arthur's vision and experience working with industrial sector, and also submitting of the pricing schedule. So this is the breakdown.
Heard any other questions for Renata?
The recommended budget, when we talked about this in our prior meeting, there was a specified budget. Did that budget change for this program?
There wasn't a budget for this, because we're going out for proposal right now, so we don't really know what it's going to cost us. Sir?
I thought there was.
Well, in the budget that we approved, I did recommend reducing the marketing budget by about $30,000, but we reduced a lot of the budget because, money.
So in essence, when the council comes back and we look at pricing from the request for proposals, then we'll determine what the budget for this project is.
The cost for this
The
project.
cost of it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Because we don't know right now.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Would that then be an expectation that we may have to increase the marketing line item?
It's a possibility.
And that's still an
If
option?
that's what the board wishes to do, yeah.
Okay, and that's still an option, though, by the time all this comes back?
Any line item that we have in that budget, if we need additional money, we now have to make a budget adjustment, move money from line items within our budget to a line item to cover the costs. Tonight you're going to see on here, I'm going to ask you guys to make a budget amendment, which is we don't have the money, so we got to go and ask the council to give us more money to do some of the work, the things that we're doing. But for this particular deal, it's in next year's, it's part of next year's budget, and if you do not have the money to, if it come over what the budget is, then what you guys would have to either take money from another line item or go back to the council and ask for additional money.
Move approval.
Have a second, please. It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Renata.
Thank you so much.
Agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration the terms and conditions of an economic incentive with Dex Tex Industrial Services, LLC, doing business as Ramtex.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, the terms and conditions that we are recommending for DesTech, is that, we don't have agreement on it?
No.
No.
We're just doing terms
Yeah.
and conditions.
In fact, in your package, I gave you guys a breakdown of the statement of facts. They requested $622,000 for their project. If you look on second page, their current payroll is about $1 million. Their projected payroll is about $2 million, 1.978. What we are recommending for DesTech is an incentive of $288,460. I did speak to the owner because of the difference, and we did receive a letter from the bank saying the bank will have a line of credit to cover the difference between what we award and their request. We award $288, they're requesting $620. They have a line of credit with the bank to cover the total project. So we ask you guys to move forward with this thing.
So if we move to approve, we're moving to approve the amount of $288,460, right?
That's my recommendation. Yes, sir.
So moved.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, excuse me, we do have the principal here, if y'all wanted to hear from them what they're doing or what they're going to be doing. If
Certainly,
y'all
we'd
wish
love to do that.
Just tell them to take one and pass it down.
Take one and pass it out.
Hello, testing. All right. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much. On behalf of my family and the families that we represent in our company, which are about 20 different families at this point in time, we want to humbly thank you for the opportunity to, number one, create a business in Port Arthur and then keep it thriving. And we think with all the work that's coming up, we can certainly do that. What we do as a company is we are an industrial company. We did actually just relocate into y'all's park, in fact, the 905 Jade Avenue building, and we've already dumped a little bit of money into it, getting it up and running, and I think it's just the beginning. We have some steps we want to take, God willing, and he's opened up the door so far, and I think this is just another part of the testimony for our company, and so just we want to thank you guys very much for the opportunity. So,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration the terms and conditions of an economic incentive with vessel repair. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, Madam Chairman, again, you guys received a letter of intent from Vessel Repair. We went through the process, and this is Vessel, it's not Vessel Repair. Yeah. I didn't change the number. Anyway, their total project is about a $5 million project. They requested $489,000 from EDC. They currently have about 140 workers. They plan to add additional workers to that project, about 60 additional workers to that project, with a payroll of about $2,050,000. We are recommending $350,000. I did speak to the principal. Again, the difference of what they requested in their project, they will cover that with their business cash.
Excuse me, Mr. Baptiste, do we have a printout? Because the numbers that I'm looking at don't coincide with what you're saying.
You're looking at,
It says, well, this is for doing business as vessel repair. This is MBLH Marine. Is that
that's correct. Yes, sir.
okay?
Okay, when you look at the project cost,
Okay.
it's about 4.6 million. I said 4.6, 4.7.
Oh, okay,
That's what it's going to cost to make the project. Of that money, they're going to put 4.2. They're asking us for the difference, which was 4.89. You follow me? You follow me now?
Your recommendation.
350,000.
Are there any questions?
So move.
Ma'am, it's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, again, I think we have a principal from vessel repair here. Do we? Yeah.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Ron Murby. I'm a majority owner of Vessel Repair. This is my son Kurt. He's also an owner in Vessel Repair. Vessel Repair's been here in Port Arthur now for 35 years. We have a long history of serving the marine industry, mostly the inland industry, the barge industry, which that's expanding dramatically with all the plants expansion and adding docks and adding units, and there's going to be a lot of growth in that. And we've really appreciate very much the trust that y'all have instilled in us, giving us this opportunity. And have born and raised in Port Arthur, and our company's been here for a long, long time, and we're proud to be a part of this. Proud to be a part of this process, and we thank y'all for y'all's support. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Thank
Kurt,
you.
Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'll just speak real quick. I'm the one that reached out to Mr. Batiste, and this process I do appreciate as smooth as it's ran. I was quite surprised with the help that Port Arthur EDC's helped with. This part that we started the project, and with the initial investment that you see, which we're fully finishing, when we saw how much we were investing in the project, and figured out that we could move these barges from the dry dock to land with just the extra little incentive of investment, what we could get back in return. So it's well worth, as you'll see the numbers, for us to put a little bit more money out. We can take the initial investment and get more back in return for it, and also employ more people. But once again, just to echo what he's saying, thank you all very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you for your commitment to the community. Agenda item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration the terms and conditions of an economic incentive for Parker's Building Supply. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, ma'am. Another applicant that you guys approved went through the process. We completed the process. They did not have a dollar value on the request side, but with the numbers that they gave us, the capital investment of $1.7 million, we recommending $160,000 for the project. They plan to hire an additional 12 full-time Port Arthur residents and 4 part-time Port Arthur. Those part-time should become full-time That's what they tell me, but we calculated based upon part-time. So the total is 16 people that's going to be hired on that project. We are requesting $160,000, recommended, sorry. I have a gentleman here from Parker, if y'all, go ahead, question? You want to hear
Yes,
from?
please.
Okay. Parker?
Yeah. Sir, before you speak, we voted on the others first, so may I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 5. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Sir, you have the floor. Thank you.
Again, just like everybody else, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity. Again, just like the gentleman before me, Mr. Batiste was very helpful and made it very easy as to go through the process of the application. It was very difficult for us, especially with a lot of higher-ups above me that I had to get information from. It made it kind of difficult, but he made it very easy to do that. Again, just like everybody else, Parker's has been in the community since the 1930s. You know, it's changed its name from Wide Lumber to Parker Lumber, but we've been in that location since 1975. And with that being said, as we grow, that building wasn't built to do the business that we're doing now, and I'm stretched to the capacity that we are now, and that's why we really needed this help to move to the Sears building, not whatever, but to move that new area to be able to handle the extra business that's coming, because I just wouldn't be able to do it where we're at right now. So I do want to thank you.
You're going to occupy the old Sears building on Memorial?
We are going to occupy the entire parking lot. Our plan is to put an awning on half of the parking lot, and we are going to occupy half of the bottom of the building. The other half is still going to be by the owner and as what he's doing for his business.
I was just asking that question for sentimental reasons.
Yeah, what their plan is, and you can probably help me with this.
Yes,
I think there's about 8 or 9 different contractors with GLO.
Yeah, with the GLO project coming, our goal was to target the ones that were here the first time, the ones that were the busiest, the biggest. And so far, the ones that we have partnered with have gotten the bulk of, the lion's share of all the houses that are building. There's a few sprinklings, one on right there on Memorial that we missed, but there's a few sprinklings of other companies, stuff like that. But when this thing kicks off, it could be 50-plus houses a month that are going to be in certain various stages being built by just one of the contractors, and that doesn't include the other ones that we're partnering with. And it's a big deal, and my yard is just not big enough to handle that. Staging the lumber, staging the roofing, staging the doors, staging the windows. It's going to be a magnitude that I think this, since Rita, this city really hasn't seen. And with the influx of money that is coming into Port Arthur because of this program is almost twice as much as what Rita and Ike had combined. So the opportunity for revitalizing and getting newer houses in this area is tremendous, not just Port Arthur, but Jefferson County and the greater Beaumont area in general. And hopefully we'll get the lion's share of being able to supply those. So, and with that, we'll need a lot of help. And like I was telling Mr. Batiste, this is a very conservative figure. I didn't want to overshoot anything. I wasn't going to ask for more. I just wanted to come in low. This is what we are 100% positive that we're going to do with this hiring as far as the job creation. But as this project goes and it really starts to ramp up, I could see that these hirings and what we're doing will probably double as far as we're going to need.
Yeah, Commissioner, they're going to be a distribution center there to distribute throughout the area.
Yeah, that's what the Sears building is going to be. For this government project, it's going to be a separate entity away from our regular business and customers, and that building will service just this government project. And it is a distribution center. I mean, it's going to be housing everything, and, hopefully with most of the damage, unfortunately, but good for us, was in a 10-mile radius of our store. So hopefully we'll be the go-to, destination. The whole parking lot we have, if you drive up and down Memorial, you probably see that all of our trucks are now parked over there. All of our roofing, a lot of our longer length lumber, things like that are already out there. We set up a new paint machine. Hopefully we're going to get a lion's share of that. Inside the building and some other things that can't be weathered, windows, doors that we try to keep inside. But if you see it, it's going to start taking off. And what we need to do is one of the reasons why we came to y'all is we had to have some kind of awning to protect what we have over there, the OSB and stuff like that, stuff that just can't really get wet or saturated until, it gets put on the house and things like that.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 10, to discuss for possible consideration approving an economic incentive agreement with Ray's Bakery.
Yes, Madam Chairman, again, you guys approved the terms and conditions for Ray's Bakery. We awarded Ray's Bakery, I think about $57,000, $59,277. They are going to be putting together a distribution of Vietnamese cakes, French breads, and a variety of other sweets. We're asking you guys to approve the agreement and move forward.
An opportunity to review the agreement. May we have a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 6. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Do we have a representative here?
What? Not here.
Agenda item number 7, to discuss for possible consideration approving an economic incentive agreement with Motion Industries.
We would like to table that one.
So,
Remove that one.
This is progressing. This is somewhat similar to another incentive that we did a while back where Motion Industries is going to be in the park, but they are not going to be the entity that is actually owning the property that is the basis of the incentive. And as you all know from another one we did recently, we've had to structure that somewhat differently so that both the beneficiary of the incentive, which is going to be the property owner, and the person that is actually meeting the performance milestone schedules, in this case, Motion Industries, are all a part of the obligations and the securitizing of your by collateral of the incentive agreement. So this one's just taking a little more time because the parties are all interested in moving this along, and this is also another exciting project for the business park, and we'll get this together as quickly as possible.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, Kate and I had a long conversation with both parties, the owner of the building and Drago. I think, like Guy said, some of the things that has to be ironed out is the letter of credit. They don't have a problem with the letter of credit, but I think the owner going to put up the letter of credit. But because our deal is with with Motion, we got to see how figure it out, Guy, how, because they putting up the money. Motion is responsible.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Once again, we have the incentive is going into the land, but the person meeting the performance milestone schedule will be Motion Industries.
So at this time, we're removing agenda item number 7.
Yes, I would like to
Okay.
remove that one.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll remove agenda item number 7. Agenda
Madam-
item number 8.
Madam Chairman, Kate just walked in if she wanted to say something about Motion.
But your call.
She's taking the lead on this one, but I think we just
We've removed it from the
That's
agenda
good.
item. Kate, is there something you'd like to add? No. All right,
Good.
thank you. Agenda item number 8, to discuss for possible consideration approving an economic incentive agreement for Robogistics LLC.
Yes, Madam Chairman, here's another one that you guys approved the terms and conditions for Robogistic. We awarded them $495,100 at last board meeting. We're coming back to you guys with the agreement to ratify the agreement to move forward with it.
Are there any questions?
want to mention, since the last time, the collateral did change. Originally, we thought it was going to be a letter of credit, but it's changed to now a specialized piece of equipment. So you'll notice that change in the incentive agreement, and also the performance milestones were tweaked a little bit. So I just wanted y'all to be aware that if you compare it to the one you previously had, the milestones are a little bit different and the collateral is different. And that was due to business negotiations between Mr. Batiste and Robogistics.
When you talk about the collateral change, you're talking about them putting up equipment for collateral.
Sir.
Correct.
What type of equipment are we talking about?
It is an industrial robotics equipment for their work, and the software program, the proprietary software that goes along with that robotic equipment. And it will, Kate did confirm that it is a removable. It's not, as you all know, this is going into the Armory building for a period of time till they can negotiate something in the business park. They have a one-year lease.
Right, they have a one-year lease with the city, which is included as a part of the incentive agreement. And as one of the milestones that they have to meet, they have to communicate with the EDC 3 months prior to the expiration of the lease with the city to inform the EDC whether or not they're going to extend the lease with the city or whether or not they have a new building, because the whole incentive agreement is based upon job creation in the city of Port Arthur. So we built that into the incentive agreement, and you'll notice that in there. And if they fail to do that, it's a breach. So the lease is in here between Robogistics and the city. And also you'll see in here the collateral security agreement. They'll have to file a UCC-1 for the equipment and the software. And we're taking a first lien, and the equipment and software together is actually worth more than the incentive total.
So you took into consideration depreciation.
Right. The equipment and the software together is valued at $732,000, which is less than the incentive that you provided them, which is $495,000.
Aren't they supposed to build after the lease is up in the building, in the business park? They're going to build.
That is one of the options that, talking to the principal of Robogistics, one of the things is they may, I have some of the principal here, but my understanding is that they may continue to stay in this building as a research and development facility while looking at another facility to build, because the building itself right now is not 100% suitable for what they want to do, but they like the building for research and development. But so they're going to eventually move to a larger building somewhere else.
That consideration is to the business park.
It's somewhere in Port Arthur. It could be the business park. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And again, we have the principals here that could tell you their plans and their Sir.
Yes, may we ask the members of Robogistics to come up, please?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Salahuddin Wahid Khan, and this is J.C. Caraway.
Good evening. Appreciate y'all. We've met before.
Yes.
And did our presentation last time.
Sal, Mr. Khan, can you kind of give the board a brief overview of your business plan for Port Arthur?
Well, thanks to Floyd, he has convinced us to come to Port Arthur. We had other areas we looked at, but his persistency brought us here, and we really appreciate that you're looking into that incentive plan here. Our plan is to actually grow the business larger than it is right now. The systems we built are pretty large, and the building we want to move into is more of going to be our R&D facility, and then the plant we would like to build, which will probably take, I would think, a year to 2 years to build. We would like to do it also here in the neighborhood of Port Arthur, and Floyd has told me that there is a industrial park you have, and there's a lot available that we would like to really, after we get established here in the next 6 months, to start looking at that and starting to build that as well, because we do need the larger building to build these buildings, these systems we design and build. And customers we serve are Fortune 500 companies you all know, we all buy from. So Robogistics, as JC and David last time told you a couple of weeks ago, is we are a robotics company. We do high-tech systems, and we're getting into artificial intelligence as well, and we're looking forward to working within the community and with the people in Port Arthur.
Yeah, I think I'll expand on that a little bit. And the fact that from our business plan, we've got the old Armory building that we want to use as a technology center, kind of an R&D. Also, is for the short term to work in some building of custom machinery that we do quite a bit of, that it'll fit in that arena. But we also build systems that are 200-foot long, 40-foot wide, that are much larger than the current facility can handle. So that's the limitation of that current property, and the fact that by the end of 2019, we're expecting to have closed around $4.5 million worth of business. And that's a combination of custom equipment that we would do in the technology center, and also some of the larger systems that would probably do between 2020 and 2021. So that's why we have the emphasis of, in the next 12 months, trying to find the location for us to start the facility, because these large systems got to be set up and tested before they're shipped to our end final customer. And right now, we're having to be creative on where we're setting these systems up for these suppliers, or these customers, because they have delivery timings that they have to meet.
Question is, you're saying you're going to have a little over $4 million in business that you will complete toward the end of the year. But at the end of this year, the lease, or after in the 12 months, the lease on the Armory will be up. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, that's a negotiation with them
Right.
about extending that lease. As we understood, is that it works as a good initial base for their operation as outlined, but their anticipation is that they will need a different facility as they move forward with their business plan. So it's a good starting place, but it may not, they may determine to use it for some element of their business plan, not the complete plan, but as this progresses, I'm sure that the city will be more than happy to work with them if this lease goes beyond 12 months, because currently we're not aware that the city has any further use or plans for the building other than what they're working with Robogistics.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to say that it's planned on to have orders booked. The delivery, most of these projects are 7 months or 8 months to delivery from time from. And that's exactly right. And that's, for us, it's important for us to have a home base that we can bring these customers to, not only to show them our technology center, but also then say, look, this is the area, and hopefully in the next 6 months we find that piece of property that we're going to move forward with, and say, this is where we're going to build. So you get to bring those customers here to say, this is where our current corporate offices are, this is where we are, this is our technology and our R&D center, this is our manufacturing facility where it's going to be built. They're close together, nearby each other, so that it's kind of hand in hand for a lot of customers.
Question. You said that you moved here from
Beaumont.
So after 12 months and you don't renew the lease, and if you haven't found a building to,
what happens? You go back to Beaumont?
No, sorry, that's a good question. The reason why we came here is because, obviously, because Floyd has convinced us this is where we should be. But we looked and looked for a building. We couldn't find it. The inventory in the 50 miles radius is not here. And while you have Lamar here, which we want to work with and continue, we've worked with the professors there. We have decided that the best thing to do is to build a building. And this is what we want to do, is we want to take the Armory building as our R&D facility, and most likely I can see that we probably will be extend the lease because, let's be honest, yes, while we don't have winters here like in the north, where we used to come from, it still will take, by the time we get the architect and get the building ready the way we would like to build it, it's going to take a year and a half to build that building. And by that time, we will be ready to crank up also into the $7 to $8 million range, and also then when we build the large buildings. In the interim, while we're building the bigger building, we like to, get our system developed as well. We have a developed system, but we're also getting into artificial intelligence, and that's what we want to do in the Armory building. And we're going to build the smaller units there. And the bigger buildings, we're hoping by the bigger machines, by the time we have the orders and designed and ready to release them to build, that the building will be ready. We are totally committed to Port Arthur, and that is actually the next step we want to do. I think you'll see us soon again, because then we want to come back and talk about the lot Floyd has told me about, and then we want to go ahead and also, get the land purchased and then start building the building, because we're going to need a large building. And there's no inventory in the 50 miles radius.
Other questions?
One other thing, and I didn't see it in the city, but I know when we were sitting down with the city, it was a one-year lease with a month-to-month.
That's right. Yes, with a month-to-month.
Month-to-month after. I didn't see that in this lease, though. So, you may want to talk to the city, because when we were sitting down with the city negotiating, it was 12 months and on month-to-month afterwards,
Right.
because
Correct.
you didn't have a time frame. You just didn't know. But they did ask for a month-to-month after the 12 months until they could get into their new building. But with the discussion with Sal and his team, there's also this, what I've heard from them is that they would like, if possible, maintain that facility as a research and development center. So it may be another 5-10 year lease with the city. I don't know. They talk about leasing or purchasing that building.
That's a
But
possibility.
for R&D, strictly for R&D, where the other facility will be their manufacturing facility. The other changes from the terms and conditions that you guys will see in this agreement is the number of employments. Well, originally we proposed to you guys that it was a total of 30. This time they're coming back with a total of, I think it's 25, 26. And I certainly understand that their reasons, because of the high technology that they are involved in. They felt they were very concerned that they may not be able to find some of the engineers that they need as Port Arthur resident. But talking to his team, I think they're very committed to doing what they have, doing all that needs to be done to hire Port Arthur residents. 26 of the 30 or 25 of the 30 will be Port Arthur residents. And, and as I said to them, we have a lot of methods to help them train Port Arthur residents, because we want those jobs.
Right.
And I know Mr. Davis George and the school districts and Lamar State College, they're already talking about how we get these people, starting these people in the school system. And Mr. Caraway and Tony have committed to getting to the school system to help these kids be welders and be CNA and be machinists, all those skill craft that's needed to be productive in this particular industry, you know. So that's where we're at right now on this one.
Well, I'd like to add, when we originally spoke about 30 people, that already included the current 12 people we have on staff, which is engineers and JC and myself in sales. Well, when we took that out, those are not Port Arthur residents, and we still committed to 26 on top of it. Because we feel that we're going to hit it.
Yeah, I think
Those would be engineers or?
it'd be a combination of machinists, welders, mechanics, applications engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering,
Certainly.
drafters, designers,
And the
whatever we
drafters.
can find in Port Arthur that can do the job for sure. I think that's where we want to start, and that's why, like Mr. Batiste said, it's working with the LIT is that's a big thing. We were doing that already in Beaumont with the old company that we were with. That we had already had those kind of programs set up.
To any other questions?
Yes, I just want to voice, I know Mr. Batiste has recommended that we approve this incentive. My concern, though, is that after 12 months, if something happens and you leave and we have to collateralize the equipment in the building, that is specific use equipment. It's going to be difficult for us to get the value for it if that happens. And as a steward of taxpayers' money, I'm just concerned about that. Can you tell me anything right now to allay my fears
About
the collateralizing of the equipment? That if something happens and you decide not to stay in the armory, and your equipment is the collateral, can you allay my fears that we would be able to get the value that for the equipment that we've actually approved as an incentive tonight?
Yeah, I do think, I do want you to understand that the lease portion is just to get us started on the building. It's not to move out of Port Arthur. We plan on having property purchased and building construction happening before the lease is even expired. So, I mean, that's part of the whole, what we're trying to get in. We're trying to get in so we can have customers come in now and not delay, because I have a large customer base that came with us with the new company that is already saying, where can we come see your stuff? So that's why we're trying and moving towards the Armory building as fast as we are, is because we need a place to have this equipment set up so we can show them, these are the solutions we have, this is the technology, come in, take a look at it, so we can proceed forward with the purchase and the building and everything else. So, I mean, it is a technology designed for mixed order handling, and the whole design is for order picking and distribution and so the equipment is such where it's specialized, but it's specialized for the distribution industry. So it's not so specialized that it can't be used.
And I think we also are signing the agreement that should something go wrong, that, if we don't, for instance, meet the 26 employee threshold, that it turns into a loan, right? Right. So, in addition, we will continue to invest. This is just a starting point. When we move in, The building, if you look at the Armour building, it's empty. It's, we need to, after we finally get the building, we're going to invest in a compressor. We have to make certain changes in the building, and those are kind of things the lease agreement says that we have to leave behind. We're going to improve it. Keep in mind that we are a technology company. We're going to put you guys also, nothing against the oil industry, but this is robotics, and there's Fortune 500 companies that are going to come here, and we are committed. We had other choices, and like I said, Mr. Batiste convinced me that this is where we want to be, and we're going to work closely with Lamar. We will not, and we cannot afford to come here and move in 12 months. It wouldn't look good with our more Fortune 500 companies, because these are companies who are going to invest in our company like you are with multi-million-dollar projects. And we need to show these companies that we are completely committed and we're not going to just go away.
We're building a foundation.
And we will look upon you also to help us find the people we need. And Mr. Batiste has assured me that the people we need, we can find them in Port Arthur. You help us, we'll stay. I don't know if I answered your question.
Good.
Thank you.
All have had an opportunity to hear and ask any questions about agenda item number 8. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 8. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, sir, for you. Agenda item number 9, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for Architects Studio. Mr. Batiste.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, Architect Studio have submitted in your package a letter requesting space on the second floor. They will provide a floor plan of what they would like to have up there. Asking you guys to move forward and see what it's going to take to have them occupy that same space that DHS had. As I said to these folks when I spoke to them, one of the things that my concern was that second floor, we do need some restrooms for the second floor, and I also would like to see a a kitchen or somebody for those people that's working up there on both sides could instead of having to come down the first floor, third floor, I would like to have a restroom and a kitchen break room. Yes, ma'am. So that's why I've asked him if he could diagram the space that he needs, because there's going to be some common areas with the restroom and the break room. But I'm asking you guys to move forward with his letter of intent to lease that portion of the building.
Have a motion, please.
So moved.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 9. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, to discuss for possible consideration awarding the construction manager at-risk Phase 1 pre-construction contract for 549 4th Street, former PA News Building.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, you guys had a subcommittee that consisted of John Scherfers and Jerry LaBeouf, myself, George Davis, Crystal, and Mr. Alan Ferris and his team. We had a total of 7 candidates. We went through all the application. We narrowed it down to 4 applicants. We then interviewed the 4 applicants, and based upon the interview in your package, we show you the scores that we came up with. And after sitting down, going through the applicants and talking about, listening to the teams of each one of those contractors, we sat down as a group, and our recommendation today is we think that they all were very quality people, and I think any one of those folks could do us a good job, but I think what we was looking for is a team approach that could help us through what we got, what we have to do over here, and based upon our group and the architect, we select CTEC as the pre-construction phase 1, and we also recommending to secure CTEC's construction for the renovation as well, should the party agree to move on. Because this is a 2-phase deal. The first phase is the pre-construction and help the architect put his plan together, get to about 70% or 80% of the drawing. Then once we get there, then we're going to have what we call maximum guaranteed price. And based upon that maximum guaranteed price, if CTEC wish to do it at that price, they can. If not, we go down to any one of these other contractors. So our recommendation is to go with CTEC's construction.
Are there any questions? Call for.
Make a motion.
Yes, please.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 2, with CTEC being the construction manager at risk for phase 1 pre-construction.
Correct.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11, to discuss for possible consideration amending fiscal year 2018-2019 budget to cover development economic incentive expense.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, gave you guys a deal. Let me look and see if I gave you guys another sheet. Well, I don't see it, Joni. I will tell you guys, I've been here 14 years. Guy, we've been here a long time. And this year, you guys, we have had more projects than ever before. We have never awarded this as many incentives as we have. We have never had as much infrastructure as we have. This year, it's close to $3 million. So we normally budget about $1.5 million for development. I had to make some budget adjustments to pay the bills. So I'm asking you guys, I'm going to remove $400,000 from training. I'm going to take $500,000 from the building. I'm going to take $50,000 from furniture, education and training, and our contingency so that we could pay the bill. And if you go on the next page, I'm asking you guys to amend your budget by $267,506 so that we would have enough money to pay all the projects that we currently have in our pipeline right now. Mr. Davis and I, we continuously meeting folks, and I will tell this board, we have told about 4 or 5 of them, come back in October. There's a lot of projects coming to Port Arthur right now, folks. I mean big projects. But, we budget so much in a line item, and we have gone over that line item. I had to make some adjustments. I made all the adjustments I can in our budget right now. And I think we'll be okay, but we still need an additional $267,000 to pay to meet all the obligations that this board have approved.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Baptiste, on the $1 million that you're moving from those 5 accounts, that's out of this fiscal year's budget.
That's correct.
Next year's budget is going to remain the same. I mean, because I'm looking at the
Yeah,
large increase in job training programs.
Yes, sir.
Because
Next
with
year,
all the business, everything that's coming, I think we need to maintain that level of funding and job training so we can get Port Arthur residents trained so that they can work on some of these jobs.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Next year's budget, I think we budgeted about $325,000 in training. We're going to probably have to up that because of logistics and the level of training that we have to provide to, but at this time, this money is out of this year's budget, not next year's budget. Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
So moved.
It's been moved and second to approve the amending the current budget. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, to discuss for possible consideration investing in the VIP program to be published in the Port Arthur News.
This is another deal, Port Arthur News, a VIP, $75 a week. I'm not going to recommend this. I don't see the value of it.
Could you tell us a little bit about the program? I mean, what is it?
Ma'am?
Tell us a little bit about the VIP program.
Renata, you want to tell them about the VIP program?
Actually, the VIP program is something that we've been doing for a couple of years. I actually had a meeting with Mr. Kessler on last week. Myself, he, and another gentleman from another company. And at the time when we did it, it was beneficial because we actually ran our marketing campaign on a weekly basis. And when we had the company Conduit to come in, or any type of job that was coming into the area, we had a chance to actually put that information in the newspaper for $79 per week, which equal like $4,109 a year. And so, I don't know, like I felt like it was beneficial at the time, but I mean, he has the ultimate say so.
Of course.
Yeah, when I look at beneficial, I look at return on the investment. And I don't
I just
see-
wanted to know a little bit about what the program was.
Yeah. Pretty much like what they do is actually, like I say, we do our marketing campaign, but this time around we're able to have impressions on the Port Arthur News website, as well as from a Facebook standpoint, so a social media standpoint. So those are two additives that they've added to the actual program.
All right. You all have heard the information about what the VIP program is. You have a copy of the agreement in your packet. You've heard the recommendation of the executive director. And do you all have any additional questions about the program or the project? May I have a motion with determining factors, what your recommendation is, please? If you prefer to can we table it? We can't take it to executive session. We can table it.
You can table if you want.
We can table it. Yeah, but we can't take it to executive session. We can table it. Is there a motion to table agenda item number 12?
Make a motion.
It's been moved and second to table agenda item number 12. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye in tabling this motion.
Aye.
It's been moved and second. Any opposition? Okay, and one abstention. So noted. Motion carries. It's tabled. Agenda item number 12 is tabled. Okay, if we can move forward with reports, marketing and business recruitment.
As you can see, we have a lot of things going on in Port Arthur. The last big thing we had was actually the event with Motiva. Just want to give you a little background of our social media platform. I actually posted some footage of the actual event as well as some pictures. And we had a lot of views on the pictures and the video. On one video, when they did the big reveal, we had about 19,428 views from an analytical standpoint. As far as like pictures and different things with dignitaries, 479 views with a lot of comments on just people saying how they're so impressed with what's happening downtown with the revitalization and everything that the EDC has helped out with and what the city is doing. I also had 11,781 views on another post that I did. We also had, of course, the chamber president as well as our mayor to stand up and give speeches. On those two, 1,718 views, and the other one, 2,084 views. Also, I think at the last meeting, maybe the early May meeting or the April meeting, you guys did approve for me to go out for the newsletter. I did put out an email on last week. I have gotten, today was the deadline for quotes to be turned in. I've only received 2 out of 6, so just wanted to do a report on that, and that pretty much concludes my report for this afternoon.
Any questions for Renata? Thank you. Operational report?
Crystal says she has nothing this week, Ms. Jones.
Okay. Financial report?
Rachel is out ill. I'm going to try to thumb through this thing. First thing I gave you guys is sales tax revenue. Got sales tax through the month of May. If you look at the bottom, I got EDC 75% and 25%. If we had 100%, we would be at $3.2 million. We only get 75% of that, which is the 2.4. The city get a quarter. The city got thus far $800,000 from us this year. I will tell you guys that sales tax is down, but we're going to be okay. Any questions on this? If you look at it through through May of this year, you probably provided the city with just about $3 million in the street maintenance repair.
What's the anticipation for what's the projection for sales tax?
I think sales tax is going to rise because of the new construction that's going to start happening through GLO and the purchase of all this equipment and also furniture. Right now, and this is my personal opinion, we are surviving based upon retail. When you go to the restaurant, you get a sales tax on, but it's $1, $2. We're not buying the big ticket items like the lumbers that we used to buy and the furniture that we used to, the large ticket items what we get. But I think that it's coming back because they're going to start building again,
Has the city released any kind of projection on how they project sales tax to look?
Well, not to my knowledge.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I think, let's see.
Dallas?
I want to.
Dallas has another
quick.
question.
Yes.
The funding with the city streets for 2019. How long are we going to fund that?
It was 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that ends when?
Next year, next fiscal year, 2020.
Okay, thanks.
2020. And again, in your financial package, I did put in here the budget adjustment that I just explained to you guys, and the ordinance that I asked you guys that we're going to send to the city councils to amend our budget by $267,000. The last portion of this thing I put in here is your financials. If you look at the last column, those adjustments going to be made from the line items that I showed you. That those, if you look at your, if you look at the very last, I keep a percentage, and most of these percentages are around 70–80%. As I said, I'm taking money from job training. Currently, you have job training. Trying to find the line item. Okay. Currently, you have $534,000. I just took $400,000, so that's going to be reduced once the adjustments are made. Okay. And the other thing is, the other deal is, if you look at the development account, currently you have under your development account, which you want you to, you got $1.8 million. We're adding to that another $1 million plus 200. That's what I was telling you. We did about $3 million worth of work this year, most I've ever done this year since I've been here. And as I said earlier, we have about four or five, Joy, real big business that's looking to come to Port Arthur that we tell them we just have to wait till October, because we can't help them right now. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, because this is the very first year that we had this much infrastructure, and I went back and I looked at some numbers. Hobby Lobby, you guys paid for the infrastructure for Hobby Lobby. You guys paid $103. If you look at, and I just look at, I went back to 2017. I could have went back to the beginning, but from 2017 to May, in sales tax, Hobby Lobby, that particular piece of property, you notice I name all this. We got a little over $620,000 in sales tax from that piece of property. And what it does is show you a return on your investment here. And this is not counting the job creation. This is strictly counting sales tax dollars. So, in economic development, we look at our returns, and so you could see you getting your returns here with sales tax coming back into the city and payroll that they're paying, plus your property tax. And I looked at AJ. I didn't have any numbers on the packing company. I think they recently got their certificate of occupancy, but just the restaurant from 17 to now, you gave these guys 105. They done paid back to you guys about $85,000. Same thing with we looked at the property where the hotels are. We did the streets and we did the infrastructure there, and I list all the stores that's in that area. You guys, that project we paid about $370,000. You guys, we picked up just about close to $920,000 in sales tax. And what we're not seeing here is the job creation, and how much payroll is. And when you add that, it shows your return on your investment. So it lets you know that you're using your money wisely. I just wanted you guys to see this thing. Any questions on it?
That's a good job. In the future, could you continue to do something like this to let us know?
Sir.
Okay. I like that.
our incentives that we offer are based on our sales tax as well, correct?
No.
So when we, go ahead.
Well, it's based upon job creation and payroll. Most of the business, I like infrastructure because that's why I brought this to you guys. A lot of the time we kind of stay away from that infrastructure, but that infrastructure brings back sales tax and create jobs. It doesn't pay the high-paying jobs,
Right.
but it brings back sales. It brings back a lot of sales tax to us.
Can y'all make the findings of fact for the
Yeah.
infrastructure improvements? That's one of the facts that you're finding is that it's going to generate additional sales tax. And the EDC, one of the incentives actually was an assisted Hobby Lobby parties and Party City coming to Port Arthur. And so now you can see that's a large sales tax generator for the community. So with infrastructure, you're not looking at job creation, but instead you're saying, okay, if Tijuanitas comes to Port Arthur, that's sales tax, people going, and or Hobby Lobby, Party City, I think there was Chipotle, so people coming and eating and buying here, well, that's going to add to your sales tax base.
Is there any way that you can do something like this with job creation?
What we have done in the past, Commissioner, I would have to rely on TWC. I would have to get into agreement with them, and it would cost some money. But I could go back and look at wages paid. It's normally about 6 months, 6 months delay, but we could show wages paid. I don't know, but I don't. It would be very difficult because I would have to segregate Port Arthur from other cities, because the employers come from everywhere. And if I go into TWC and if I look at Harbor Freight, and pull the wages, I could tell you the wages, but I would have to know every individual that was hired and pull every individual that was hired wages, because I could pull it by individual or company. It'd be a lot of work.
I think the question for me was based on that we had to transfer funds because of all the incentives we gave, and I wanted to see that we were getting a true return on investment for that transfer. And that's what I was trying to understand. And that might be a 4 or 5 year projection, if over a period of time, because you will recover your money. But in that year, it looks like you've invested more than you could afford to invest.
And if you go back and look at, I don't have it with me, but I had a list of all the projects that we did this year, and several of them, you had AJ Enterprise was one, you had MPW, you got the car wash, you got the shopping center on Gulfway Drive, the shopping center on Stadium Road. All those are infrastructure. And I expect the trend to continue. So you're going to see your return on your investment, because it's going to produce sales tax and it's going to put people to work. That help you out, Dallas?
I just.
Yeah, looking at it individually, it would be difficult.
Because I like to see what the people in Port Arthur.
Yeah. Now, what I've done in the past for the board, I could tell you that, I could look at a Pacific, like we know how many Port Arthurs we put in truck drivers, so I could go pull those people wages and tell you, here's what our truck drivers are making now, how much money they have made. But when you start talking about business, it's just, you can't segregate them, because everybody worked there. You know what I mean? Make sense? Yeah. I think I had one more deal. The other deal I had was logos and on your shirt order. Get each one, Joni. And Joni, I think several board members have asked about shirts.
Okay.
And so Joni had put out a form. I think she said you could go to the website or you could come by here and there is a magazine where you could go in there and let us know what you want.
Okay. If any of you are interested, you can just contact Joni. Okay. All right.
That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
All right. This time, closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Section 551.071, Section 551.072, Section 551.075, the CEO evaluation and staffing, and number 4, Section 551.087. At this time, I'd like to recess the board to executive session.
John Sheriffus, Christopher Smith, Kenneth Marks, Dallas Smith, Ingrid Holmes,
Here.
Jerry LaBeouf. We have a quorum.
Thank you. There was an executive meeting. There was no action item in the meeting. Therefore, at this time, I'd like to call to adjourn the meeting.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, it's been unanimously decided that we'll go and watch the game tonight. Y'all have a good evening.
Come on, Mr. Marshall, let's go.
You don't have to go watching Kawhi going off for 50 tonight.